exclusively on ESPN+. UFC 313, Saturday. Reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira defends his title against number one contender Magomed Ankalaev, and an explosive lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Pazzi. UFC 313, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
See, that's the things that are coming out of your mouth, child. Babbling, insanity, delusions.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by two really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve.
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios in beautiful downtown OJ City, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider who gives me street cred with the wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
My partner, Tacie, and all things will be here in a minute. This is a show for people who have never listened to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you got a question, you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider. If you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call, 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine or at DrScottWM. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking over with your healthcare provider. Very good. Check out stuff.drsteve.com for all of your online buying needs. And then don't forget to check out the Roadie, ROADIE.drsteve.com robotic tuner for any of your friends, or if you yourself have a stringed instrument. It's the greatest invention ever, and it's relatively inexpensive when it comes to accessories for high-end guitars and stuff like that. So check it out, roadie.drsteve.com. Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. And then patreon.com/weirdmedicine. They get all of my, one-offs. I did a thing for Carl's 600th. You don't have to plow through that whole episode. It's just right there if you're... I did all my Normal World stuff goes there first. Any of my YouTube shorts on different topics and stuff like that. I'm just experimenting. Going to do more stuff there. And if we do Friday night live streams, they will go to Patreon first. And then these shows, the behind the scenes things, go straight to Patreon as soon as we're done. So check that out, patreon.com/weirdmedicine. And then if you want me to say fluid to your mama, check me out at cameo.com/weirdmedicine. As cheap as they'll let me do it which is $5 stupid. I'd do it. I would do it for free. I just like doing it. I'm not doing it for the money. So I try to make it as accessible as possible. And but check that out, cameo.com/weirdmedicine. All right, very good. Don't forget Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. That's simplyherbals.net. Everything going okay over there, Dr. Scott?
We've been busy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, tis the season.
Tis the season.
So if you want your peppermint CBD nasal spray, nasal rinse,
yes,
it's the greatest stuff in the world. I sent somebody up to your office for some fatigue reprieve the other day.
Yep. Thank you.
You were almost out of it.
Yes.
So you got some more coming?
Yeah, we got some more. We've got some coming.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a busy season, man.
That was GVAC's favorite. So, yeah. And if you are a Weird Medicine listener, and this isn't an ad, but you happen to buy something from Dr. Scott, let him know.
Yes,
and he
please
throws some stupid, tchotchkes in there.
Yep. We love to do it.
Yeah.
Love to do it.
All right. And don't forget to check me out at Normal World, youtube.com/@normalworld, or on Blaze TV with Dave Landau. And doing some fun stuff over there. Did one recently, I think we talked about this last week, that was so disgusting we had to change it.
Isn't that the second time that's happened?
No, this is the first time. But so...
Oh, my gosh.
So I realized that, a close-up of a cow, defecating, just shooting out of its ass for 30 seconds is probably a little bit extreme. So, of course, I used that on the video for Carl from WATP's 600 show. I was just talking about one thing and just threw that image up. And that image and other disgusting images will be on display May 9th through the 11th at Hackamania. Get your tickets at hackamania.com. And use offer code WEIRD for 10% off your tickets. And if you use my offer code, I don't know, hearty handshake coming your way. Let me know that you did, and I'm bringing a bunch of pins and poker chips and stuff, so you'll get some free stuff. But yeah, use mine. Don't use Carl's. Offer code WEIRD, hackamania.com. Okay, very good.
Cool.
All right, Tacie, you got something for us?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, let's hear it. Hang on.
It's Tacie's time of topics. A time for Tacie to discuss topics of the day. Not to be confused with Topic Time with Harrison Young, which is copyrighted by Harrison Young and Area 58 Public Access. And now, here's Tacie.
Well, hello.
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 Today's subject is a UTI vaccine.
This is crazy.
Yep.
Euromune, also known by its developmental code named MV-140, is a polyvalent bacterial vaccine which is used and is being developed for prevention of recurrent urinary tract infections.
Yeah, this is crazy. There are particularly women that have recurrent urinary tract infections, and some of them have to take antibiotics chronically, which is not good. And sometimes, as they get older and they have these recurrent urinary tract infections, it can cause delirium. It can cause sepsis. In other words, where the bacteria invade the bloodstream. Yep. So it's bad. So anyway, go ahead, Tace.
It has been found to reduce total number of UTIs by about 70%.
That's huge.
To increase UTI-free rates from around 25% to 57%, and to increase time to next UTI from about 1.6 months to 9 months.
And that's average, so some people get better than that.
Right.
It has also been found to reduce subjective UTI symptoms, reduce antibiotic use, and improve quality of life.
I wonder if this would work for people who It contains inactivated bacteria from the most common types of bacteria. So I bet people who have ureaplasm, unless it's in there, it's not going to help them. Okay. Because there are some people that have chronic UTI symptoms from inflammation in the bladder. Yep. And there's one called trigonitis, which is inflammation of the bladder, the trigone of the bladder, which is between the two inlets from the kidney, right, the ureters, right, and the outlet. So there's this thing called the trigone. It's a sort of triangular shaped place. And they can get inflammation there, and you have to take triamcinolone or, no, that's not right, triamterene antibiotic, on and on and on to keep it suppressed. There are other people that have inflammation due to a weird organism called ureaplasma, and it's really hard to get rid of too. So if this works, maybe in the future they'll have something that will clear that as well.
That'll be great.
Go ahead, Tacie.
Says the effectiveness of the vaccine appears to decrease with time, which might warrant readministration.
Yeah,
sure.
Urimmune is used as a sublingual spray once daily for 3 months.
Wow.
It's sublingual.
Side effects of Urimmune are considered infrequent, minor, and usually not treatment related. It is an inactivated combination of 4 major bacteria known to cause recurrent UTIs.
And those 4 are E. coli, or did you want to?
No, because I can't.
Okay, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Proteus vulgaris, and Enterococcus fecalis. So those are the big 4.
Okay.
So that's good, yeah.
It is thought to work by increasing adaptive immunity against UTI-causing bacteria.
That's crazy.
It might also work by increasing trained immunity against these pathogens.
Yeah.
And that is my story for the day.
I don't know if I want to put E. coli under my tongue, though.
Well,
it's not actually shit. It's just
it's like a
bacteria.
stool transfer, kind of the same kind of thing, just in a little different space.
Yeah, that's really different than I thought it would be. I was thinking maybe it was a monoclonal antibody or something, but then it wouldn't really be a vaccine. So it's just really giving you, it's a traditional vaccine where you're being exposed to bacterial parts before you get exposed to the actual bacteria. You know?
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's wonderful.
Yay. Well, that's a good one, Tacie.
Good one, Tacie.
Is that all you got?
Well, thank you, Steve.
That's all you need.
Thank you for sending it to me.
Well, that one came from Stacey DeLoach, I believe. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Good.
Good old Stace.
All right. You got anything, Scott?
No.
Okay.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right. Let's do a couple of these things. I've got, well, here's one that you might be
Hey,
able
Dr.
to
Steve.
answer.
This is Matt from Connecticut.
Hey, Matt.
I recently just lost a bunch of weight, went from 320 to about 295.
Excellent.
Started doing keto, was pre-diabetic, so I'm waiting to get a repeat blood test after about 3 months to see how everything looks. But since I've been going back to the gym, I feel much better, but I'm getting this achy throb in my shoulder, and it goes like from almost like where your clavicle and collarbone is, and it kind of goes behind my shoulder, and then it radiates up my neck into the front and side of my, almost like my skull. Just throbs. And I just have to like kind of let my arm hang a little bit. And I'm just curious if it's something that I should just keep taking anti-inflammatories for.
All right. The noise in his car. You know what it is?
I'm going to err on the side of something not so great, something like a brachial plexus syndrome.
Well, maybe.
It's kind of what I'm, because, I mean, he could have little rotator cuff. It could be levator strain. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
But when he's talking about it wrapping around, front, underneath, the whole thing and going up into his neck, I almost lean into like a brachial plexus.
Yeah, brachial plexus. So what Scott's talking about is a group of nerves that are kind of under the armpit.
Yeah,
and
the cervical, lower cervical spine area.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And but they go through there, and you the brachial plexus fires nerve signals to the hand, and also receives stuff from there as well.
Yep,
from the arm and the hand. And so that's possible. I'm just thinking after he lost weight, he just hit the gym.
Yeah.
And now he's got inflammation in his
kind
shoulder.
Of an overuse syndrome, yeah.
And what I would do is see your primary, and then they can always send you to physical therapy. If you have loss of range of motion, they'll do an MRI on your shoulder just to see if you've got a tear in one of the muscles or tendons. Could just I'll poke around on those, and every once in a while you just find a
trigger spot.
Supraspinatus tendonitis. That's a tendon over the that sort of spine of the shoulder blade.
Yeah, scapula.
And right. Right, but our listeners know it as the shoulder
sure,
blade.
Sure,
but
sure.
there's
The wing bone.
If you feel back, there, there's sort of a spine over there. And right above that, there's a fleshy part, and that's the supraspinatus muscle. And it's one that it's kind of thin, and it's really easy to get inflamed. And I do a lot of supraspinatus injections in my office.
Well, there, and then what he's talking about, too, a little bit of the deltoids, a little bit of the long head, the biceps tendon.
Deltoid being the big fleshy thing over the shoulder. It
flops over the shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I would tell him first, though?
Yeah,
I would ask him first. When you go to the gym, find out which one of the exercises is making it, if it makes it a little bit worse. Because 9 out of 10 times what happens is when people start lifting weights, when their elbows flare away from their ribs, they get out into free space, and that puts in a lot of extra strain on the shoulders.
Yes.
So a lot of times if you're doing bicep curls and your arms flare out, or you're doing bench presses or push-ups, or even anything over your head, if your elbows get away from your ribs, your shoulders get much more engaged and they can get sore.
Interesting.
So maybe try to keep your elbows down when you're doing bench presses or push-ups, bicep curls, things like that, to try to really not get that shoulder muscle so worked up.
Yeah.
So you can continue to work out without hurting your shoulder.
Yeah. So that's good advice.
Think that.
All right. So let us know what you find out.
Yes.
All right. I was going to put up a picture of the brachial plexus up on our YouTube, but I couldn't get it to work, so I'm sorry. All right. Let's try this one. Oh, this is an interesting question.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
Hey.
Huge fan. This is Ron from Oregon.
Hey, thanks, Ron.
Been listening to you since O&A.
Yeah, awesome.
Love you. So,
Thanks.
Listen.
Likewise.
I got a weird question, because weird medicine.
Hence the name.
Or why is it that when you put a lidocaine patch on your lower back for pain symptoms, it soaks into your bloodstream. Nicotine patch does the same thing.
Yep.
Or when you rub test, cream on your body, it somehow helps your testosterone levels.
Yep.
But yet, when you go in, let's say, a really salty ocean and stay in there for an hour, your sodium levels don't go up. Or when you're in a pool for a long time, you don't all of a sudden get poisoned from chlorine or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, what is the mechanism that makes certain things go into your bloodstream and certain things not? I think I'm an idiot, but I think it's called transdermal. What makes it transdermal?
Right.
And also, I got a quick question after that.
Yeah.
Why is it when you eat asparagus?
Okay, hang on. Let's do this one first, and then we'll.
That's a great question.
Yeah. So, if you take, let's just use pain medication. You take morphine. It's a large, water-soluble molecule.
Okay.
If you put it under your tongue, it's not absorbed, 5 to 10%. There's a big myth that if you put it under your tongue, it gets absorbed, but it doesn't. It has to hit the GI tract.
Right.
If you put it on your skin, nothing. Mm-hmm. If you remember when we had Susie in the, I don't know if you were you here for the Vodka Tampon?
No, I wasn't here for that episode.
Okay, so what we did
what
is
a shame.
We soaked a tampon in vodka, and she inserted it, and then we had a breathalyzer because we were trying to bust the myth that you can do that to somehow evade, getting a DWI or getting, where if you're underage, you could somehow, quote unquote, drink using your vagina, which none of that worked. And the reason is that the skin is impervious to water-soluble things.
Right.
Fentanyl is a small lipid soluble. In other words, it is you can dissolve it in fat, and that will readily go through the skin. So if you have something that is dissolvable in fat, that is going to be the most bioavailable when you put it on the skin. And by bioavailable, I mean available to the body to use. In other words, it will pass through the skin and into the bloodstream. And then the least bioavailable thing is going to be something that's purely water soluble. Okay. And there's a reason for it. The mechanism is there is this thing called the stratum corneum, which is an outermost layer of the skin. and it's composed of tightly packed dead skin cells filled with keratin, which is a protein, and it creates a waterproof barrier that repels water from penetrating deeper into the body. And it also has fats in it, ding, 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 that most people know that if you take like oil and put it in a jar and then pour water over it, the two things will separate. The oil is less dense, so it floats to the top, usually anyway. And they won't mix. You can make an emulsion if you try really hard, but for the most part, they won't mix. So you have keratin and you have basically oil that forms what we call a hydrophobic layer. And so water and solutes and stuff can't go through. So you can go into the ocean and you're not getting a big load of salt being injected into your body. But if you have chronic cancer pain and you put transdermal fentanyl on, then you can, because it will pass through because it's lipid soluble.
Gotcha.
So anything that's water or charged, particularly, you have ions in water, you have sodium and you have chloride. Salt doesn't exist in water as sodium chloride. It's sodium ions and chloride ions, and they're all just sort of floating around, interacting with each other and stuff. So because they're charged, also, again, they can't pass through that neutral lipid layer.
Gotcha.
And that's why.
Gotcha.
So that's a great question, because you wonder, well, shit, if I get in the ocean, how come I'm not getting a salt overload?
I think it's also important to tell everyone about the side effects she experienced from the tampon incident.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, if we're going to go back to that, she had an itchy vagina for about a month.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So we concluded that, number one, it doesn't work. Let's drink it.
Exactly.
Stop trying to be clever. No alcohol enemas. That has the potential to kill you. No vaginal alcohol suppositories, because it doesn't work and it's just going to cause vaginitis. I've seen fraternity, brothers putting alcohol under their eyelids.
Oh, geez.
That's just going to cause a conjunctivitis, and it may be absorbed, but it's the only amount that's going to be absorbed is the amount that you can put under your eyelid, which isn't enough to do anything anyway.
No, and you go spend a whole lot more going to quick care.
Yeah,
to get an eye cream.
Right. And when you drink alcohol, most people can control how much they drink. And if you get too much, you pass out.
Right.
We had a friend that used to come to our parties, and she'd pass out by 7:30, and I'd have to drive her home. It was ridiculous. And, but she never got alcohol poisoning because she would pass out before she could drink anymore. Whereas if you take a whole bottle of something and you put it in an enema bag and shove it up your ass and put it in your colon, you have no control over the intake of that.
Yep.
It's just going to get all absorbed all at once, and you're going to pass out and you may die. It's happened. When I was medical examiner, you remember I used to get that magazine called the National Association of Medical Examiners, or NAME, or NAME, and they loved just letting everybody know about these horrific deaths. The guy that gave himself a concrete enema and didn't realize it was exothermic and it cooked him from the inside. Another guy that gave himself a champagne enema and then did autoerotic asphyxiation and passed out and died with the Hansen video still, on infinite loop. Yeah, it was bad. So don't do that stuff. Just drink responsibly, but drink it. Don't try to be clever.
Yeah. And enjoy.
No other orifices.
Yes, enjoy.
God.
And be responsible.
Yes. Well, I believe I said drink responsibly, but yes, it doesn't hurt to reiterate that. All right. Very good. All right. Now he had another question.
I know it stinks, but for me, and I think for everybody else, it happens within 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, wait. What's he talking
Asparagus.
about? Oh, okay.
I know it stinks. But for me,
okay, so he's asking about asparagus piss. I did a thing for Dave Landau's Normal World on that. You might be able to find it, Normal World, asparagus, Dr. Steve, but I can just tell you the answer. Some people produce the smell, and some people can smell the smell. So there are people that don't produce, and there are people that can't smell it. And then there are people that produce it and smell it, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's where the confusion comes from, because not everybody reacts to this the same way. And, they identified this precursor or this molecule that causes the smell, and it's a sulfur-containing molecule. The problem is, once it's in the urine and it outgasses, and so that you can smell it, it's so small that it shouldn't be in the urine. It should have been broken up and filtered out. Okay. So what that tells us is there is a precursor molecule that is cleaved either in the kidney or somewhere in the urinary tract that then breaks down to this smelly molecule that not everybody can smell and not everybody produces. So, and they've never identified what that precursor molecule is. And the reason they've never identified it is because you can't get grant money.
There's no money in it.
To find out
right.
what's the actual molecule that causes asparagus piss smell.
Right on.
So, but that's what it is. And it's just there is a precursor molecule in asparagus particularly, that when it's broken down somewhere in before it hits your bladder, then becomes a small sulfur-containing molecule that outgasses when you piss, and some people can smell it, and some people can't. So there are people that will produce it but can't smell it. So they're like, "You're crazy. My piss doesn't smell." But the person next to him is like, "Oh, I can tell you had asparagus."
What is happening in that room?
Well, it's it's like men's bathroom. There's urinals.
It's disgusting.
It's different than females. Men sometimes they just have troughs that men piss into. It's particularly at the ball fields. In France, they used to have the pissoir, which was just a place men could go in and piss, and it just had a covering from about your knees to your nose. And you could still see their feet and, people in there pissing. Yeah. So, but, so that's how. See, in a woman's bathroom, that would be unlikely to happen because women sit in different stalls and they're not just sitting there open, looking at each other's junk and stuff.
Disgusting.
But anyway, so and then some people don't produce it, but can smell it in other people. And it's like, well, I can eat asparagus all day long and my piss doesn't smell. So that's where the controversy is. It's not that different from the controversy about female ejaculation, where some women ejaculate, some have coital incontinence, which is, the release of clear fluid from the bladder during intercourse, and then some people do both, and some do none. So there is just this ongoing controversy. Oh, it's just piss, or no, it's not. It's it's ejaculate, and both of them are right, sort of, and and on it goes. If you want to convince somebody of the reality of female ejaculation and coital incontinence, go to drsteve.com. I've got an article that I wrote that is the final answer, and it is backed by scientific, papers in the medical literature. All right, and even Brian Redban from Joe Rogan's show, somebody would bring it up and he'd say, "Dr. Steve, explained this years ago."
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know where Brian. I reached out to him recently and I haven't heard from him. But anyway, that was kind of.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Xyzal is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Xyzal keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, Be wise all. Take Zysol. At night.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was getting frustrated by your forms. Now, Taxes is uploading your forms with a snap, and a TurboTax expert will do your taxes for you. One who's backed by the latest tech, which cross-checks millions of data points for absolute accuracy, all of which makes it easy for you to get the most money back, guaranteed. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Cool. Anyway, okey-doke.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's why. All
Goodness.
right, let's see here. We did that one. Let's do this one. This is kind of interesting.
Hey, Dr. Steve. It's Todd from Pennsylvania.
Hey, man.
So I have two questions.
Okay.
I recently found a new product, I guess we'll call it. It's called Methylene Blue.
It's not new.
And I was wondering what you knew about it. I have started taking it, and over the last about a week or so, and I haven't noticed any changes.
Well, okay, so this is that typical thing. What are you trying to accomplish? Because people say, well, is vitamin D any good? Well, for what? Mm-hmm. You want to prevent rickets? It's fucking great. Mm-hmm. You want to prevent heart attacks? Probably not so much. Mm-hmm. Do you want to decrease all-cause mortality? Maybe. Mm-hmm. There's some data on that.
Possibly.
So, so that's the thing. So what are you trying to accomplish with this?
Other than my urine is
blue.
A lot on the blue side,
Yeah.
kind of teal, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Teal.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, I haven't noticed any adverse effects.
Yeah.
But I did a little bit of the internet research, and there could be some problems, but I was wondering what your opinion of it was.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's talk about methylene blue. The indication from the FDA is to treat a condition called methemoglobinemia. Mm-hmm. And that's where hemoglobin changes its conformation and becomes less able to carry oxygen. And when you take methylene blue for that, it can help to reverse it. Now, there are some other things that methylene blue is used for, and there's one is called vasoplegic syndrome. And it's kind of interesting that the methylene blue will help to prevent this sort of distributive shock that occurs during coronary procedures. And every once in a while, like if you have a coronary artery bypass graft and you have this shock that happens right after, shock just meaning precipitous dropping of your blood pressure, they can give methylene blue IV, and that may help particularly when epinephrine is not effective.
Okay.
Now, during lumpectomy or mastectomy, they'll apply it as a dye to map out which lymph nodes, if any, have signs of malignancy because it will stain them.
Wow.
It also reduces post-injection pain when used 45 seconds before the administration of a beta blocker called propofol. And you can also use it for plasmodium, in other words, malaria, in areas that have shown resistance to chloroquine and pyrimethamine. So, there's all kinds of crazy stuff, but I don't know. And then you can use it to identify the parathyroid glands if you're doing a parathyroidectomy. So when you open up somebody's neck and you get a bloodless field, parathyroid glands are embedded in the thyroid, and it's hard to find the damn things. But if you throw some methylene blue in there, they'll light up. You can see them.
Gotcha.
So, it's kind of interesting, and I don't know what in the hell you would just go buy it and take it for, to be honest with you.
I think in the alternative world, they use it a lot as an
antidepressant.
Well, no. Is for brain fog, for anti-inflammation, and it's as an anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial kind of thing, just in small doses.
Well, okay, so I'm looking at NIH, and they're saying one of the most common adverse effects of methylene blue is bluish-green discoloration of urine, so that would be teal.
So he may be taking a tad too much of his methylene blue.
Yeah,
he may have to check the dosage before he carries on.
Yeah, other common adverse effects is, if you give it IV, which he's not, is limb pain. And it can also contribute to serotonin syndrome if it's combined with other drugs like serotonin selective reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs like Prozac, Paxil, that kind of stuff, SNRIs, the serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, which would be duloxetine, which is Cymbalta, or Pristiq, venlafaxine, and other antidepressants. So you got to be really careful not to take this stuff if you are on a drug that modulates serotonin levels.
Gotcha.
All right. I don't know. I don't. So tell me again why the alternative people are using it.
Using it to treat specifically some brain fog. So like post-COVID brain fogs. I've seen
Where would they get the idea that would do it?
I don't know, but they use it in really small doses because I guess it has some anti-inflammatory properties, and certainly I've seen people use it like as little washes and stuff just for an antiseptic.
So now I'm looking here. I searched instead of looking at the science. I looked at the alternative, quote unquote, science. It says methylene blue is used to improve memory and cognitive function. Okay, so there's a link here.
Yeah.
So let me see. This is benefits of methylene blue in alternative medicine, but this is from a functional medicine website, so it's not got any data whatsoever. So let's go to PubMed. So anybody can go to pubmed.gov and put in methylene blue, and cognitive, right?
Right.
And let's see if there's anything in the actual medical literature about this. Quite a few things.
Oh, wow.
But it looks all preclinical, meaning that's not human studies. It says from mitochondrial function to neuroprotection, an emerging role for methylene blue. Now, this is another one of these things where it's on the market and it's known to be relatively safe. And so people are getting it and using it, and based on studies that really are not clinical studies. But it says this is from what journal is this? Molecular Neurobiology. And it says methylene blue can reroute electrons in the mitochondrial electron transfer chain. Damn! I don't know if I like that. Directly from NADH to cytochrome C, increasing the activity of complex 4 and effectively promoting mitochondrial activity. Well, okay, well, mitigating oxidative stress. Well, that might be good. Anything that mitigates stress is good. And, so it says here, methylene blue has shown impressive efficacy in mitigating neurodegeneration and the accompanying behavioral phenotypes in animal models for conditions such as stroke, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, and traumatic brain injury. Now we're getting somewhere. So, Dr. Scott, would you look up methylene blue and peripheral neuropathy and see if you can find any studies on that? Because, I might need to take this stuff.
I'll say we could use a gallon of it, couldn't we?
You guys do teach me things on this show. So, people ask me questions like, I've never heard of that. And then I look it up and find that actually there is some truth to it. Now, here's one, exploring methylene blue and its derivatives in Alzheimer's treatment, a comprehensive review of randomized controlled trials. So this has been looked at quite a bit, and this is in the journal Cereus, Cereus, Yeah, hang on just a sec, Tace. It says the findings of the studies indicate the administration of methylene blue has demonstrated enhancements in cognitive functions, reductions in the accumulation of plaques containing beta amyloid, improvements in memory and cognitive function in animal subjects. Okay, what were you going to say, Tace?
Well, it says it may help with peripheral neuropathy. However, it also could damage nerves.
Oh, well, okay, don't want that.
And it says it helps with peripheral neuropathy by pain relief, nerve block, discogenic low back pain. How it can damage nerves is reversible nerve damage, reducing nerve sensitivity.
Really?
Can induce dose-dependent toxicity in peripheral neurons. Can potentially be fatal when used with medications that increase serotonin.
Interesting.
Other considerations, if you have a G6PD deficiency, you should avoid it.
Okay, so G6PD is also a drug, is an enzyme that if you take 5-fluorouracil, if you got colon cancer and you have G6PD deficiency, then you're going to have a really wild and sometimes life-threatening adverse reaction to that. And they don't test for it because it's so rare. But then when you have somebody and it happens to them, you kind of go, well, would you have paid for the test? And they're like, hell yeah, I would have to have avoided this. So it's a little bit of a quandary in oncology still to this day.
Hey, so it's saying here too, I'm reading where the pain relief from methylene blue helps by reducing nitric oxide
reducing
production.
it?
Yeah, reducing the production.
Oh, I don't like that.
Well, reducing nitric oxide production. For pain, it's good.
Yeah, but
for erections,
yeah,
it's
that
bad.
Sucks. Right. Look up methylene blue and impotence then, see if it contributes to impotence. See, this is how we do our research. We might as well just do it on the fly so you kind of see. Here we go. While they're looking that up, therapeutic benefits of methylene blue on cognitive impairment during chronic cerebral hypoperfusion. In other words, people who have low blood flow to the brain, and this is a risk factor for cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's disease. What'd you find?
So here's the funny thing. Methylene blue is not used to treat ED, but is used to treat if you have priapism.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Give thyself a bell.
There you go. How funny.
So
it works. You can have your cake or you can have your ice cream, but you can't have both.
You can have your cake or you can have your erection. can't have your cake and cock too or whatever.
You know, at certain ages, I think the cake is a little bit better.
Yeah,
especially
I'll take the cake
too, man. And reduce the
so we predicted
oxide
that. We would have predicted that.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that hits agrees with our hypothesis.
Yep.
So so that's this dude that's calling. Let us know if it's affecting your ability to get an erection because that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is
right?
bizarre.
Okay. Did he have another question or was that it? Let me see.
And also, my second question is, why are you only on Sunday night and they don't replay your show at any point during the week?
Yeah, they used to play us Saturday at 7.
Prime time, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday at 5, and then Monday at 5 a.m. And that's where Rob Bartlett used to listen to us because he would be driving into WFAN to do the Imus show, and on his way in, our show would be playing on Sirius XM. And that's how he became, I hesitate to say fan. He says fan. I say listener. He became a listener of our show. I'm the fan. I'm a fan of his. He can't be a fan of ours.
So funny.
Remember meeting him? There's a picture of,
right here.
Yeah, that's a picture with me. And then there's a picture with the four of us with him when we were up in the studio that day. That was cool. We just walked in. He was there and he was like, oh my God.
How fun.
So I didn't think anybody listened, much less Rob Bartlett from the Imus show, who was the best part of that show, in my opinion. Anyway, all right. Did you guys hear Anthony is going to WABC radio?
Yes, I did.
I missed it.
And it's an AM radio, but it's syndicated to, I don't know, a lot of markets. And at both FM and AM, and it's conservative talk radio. I think he'll do an amazing job over there. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But anyway, congratulations to him.
Yeah, congrats.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve, this is Evan from Michigan.
Yeah, hey, man, Evan.
I was thinking lately, I cook a lot, and I rarely use iodized table salt. I almost exclusively use sea salt.
Yeah.
And was wondering if since this is, I feel like it's pretty common, if goiters have.
Hey, will you look up, does sea salt have any iodine in it? Because if it's really from the sea, it should have minerals and gold and stuff like that in it.
Skyrocketed because nobody's using iodized salt anymore.
Yeah.
Or if they've put it in enough things and people are getting enough of it that they've remained stable.
Yeah, you don't need much.
Yes, it does have iodine in it.
Okay, so just not as much as the hyper-iodized stuff. So not getting enough iodine in your diet can absolutely increase the risk of thyroid disease, including enlarged thyroid, low thyroid hormone, and iodized salt's the easiest way to get it. But most salt used in processed foods in the United States is, go ahead, non-ionized, go ahead.
Okay, so there's iodized sea salt and then there's natural sea salt. And if it's natural sea salt,
then there's not.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it may contain trace amounts of
There you
iodine
go.
from the ocean water.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
But so I guess it depends on the kind of sea salt you buy.
Okay.
Give thyself a bell.
There you go.
Suck it.
Suckers.
So when you eat in a restaurant, most of the time they're going to be using iodized salt unless it's a really highfalutin restaurant. But there are also foods that you can get iodine from as well. And do you know any of those, Dr. Scott?
Say it again.
Foods that naturally have iodine.
Oh, yes, your kelp.
Yep.
Yeah, kelp would be one, seaweed. Gosh, other things.
Yeah, lots of people eat kelp.
Country ham.
Nori. Scott's 100% right. He should actually get a bell for that because kelp is excellent.
Give thyself a bell.
Fish, cod, tuna, salmon, shellfish, dairy, milk, cheese, yogurt, whole eggs, and then beef liver.
Oh, gross.
But then fortified breads and cereals will have it too. But the iodine in those foods can vary. So what I would do is you don't need a whole lot of iodine. I mean, for you to get iodine, not poisoning, but to get thyroid disease from lack of iodine, you really have to have no iodine in your diet whatsoever. So if you're eating eggs, milk, cheese, tuna, shellfish, some fruits, yogurt, restaurant food and stuff like that, and as Dr. Scott said, seaweed, lima beans, chicken, prunes, all these things, shrimp, all these things have some iodine in them. This is what I would do is every few times when you cook, use some iodized salt. Yeah. And then you're guaranteed to get it. You can take iodine tablets, but that's not necessary, I don't think. Yeah, I would be very surprised if in the United States, even if you are cooking purely with pink Himalayan salt, that you are not getting enough iodine unless you're just, literally eating just vegetables out of your garden. And even then, there are, a few of them that have some iodine in them anyway. All right. So just use some iodized salt every once in a while. They recommend that you get enough iodine just to avoid thyroid disease. Now, do you know why they give people iodine tablets when, in case there's a nuclear attack?
Oh, gosh, no.
So what happens is you get iodine isotopes in the fallout, and they will be taken up by the thyroid, and then over time, this is assuming you survive,
right.
The nuclear attack, those isotopes of iodine will be taken up by the thyroid and eventually will give off beta decay. I believe it's beta decay. And that is ionizing to the point where it can cause cancer.
Wow.
But if you take an iodine tablet, what it does is it fills up all of the iodine receptors in the thyroid, and then the radioactive iodine will just bounce off the thyroid. It's got nowhere to go.
Wow.
So that's the key. So you want to make sure that those receptors are totally filled up so radioactive iodine can't take hold. Okay?
Cool.
There you go. All right. Very good. Let's see. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Steve. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm 50 years old, about 6 foot, about 165 pounds. Pretty active, pretty healthy. Don't drink, don't smoke. But I have to eat constantly, and I have, my energy sinks if I don't, and I have to pack a lot of snacks and water and stuff for my daily, work day. And so is it just a high metabolism, or is there something that I should have checked out? Just wondering. Also, thank you for the many years of service, and kind of missed the show on XM, but can always fall back on the podcast, I suppose. But thanks for all you do, man. I appreciate it.
Buddy.
And thanks for the laughs and all the pertinent information. I really appreciate it, man. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's the wrong show.
And nothing funny going on in this room.
No funny stuff here.
But I appreciate it. And yes, May 11th may be the final recording for Sirius XM, but we're still going to be doing some stuff. I don't know what exactly it will be, if it's a Friday night live stream or we're just going to do documentary style stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I've really enjoyed Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee taught me how to, when I was in Largo, it got me started using DaVinci. And DaVinci is what they use, like, the movie studios use this stuff. You can get it for free. But if you buy the little video editor that's not that expensive, it's under $400, that you get DaVinci, the full implementation for free. And I mean, you can do blue screens, green screens, you can do, all kinds of mist effects, and just anything you can think of in a movie that would be done post-production, you can do in DaVinci. And I've really enjoyed that, making those videos and stuff. And I just do real simple stuff with me talking in front of a green screen with a AI doctor's office behind me. And then just bring up different, video and photographic assets while I'm talking. But it's really fun to do. I like doing that, so I want to do more of that. Because I see people like Anton from the physics channel, and he's always talking, he's the guy that goes, "Hello, wonderful person." And I really like him. And then every day he does a video about a different science topic, and it's just he does it in front of a green screen. And I think I could do one of those a week. I don't think I'm going to do one every day until I retire, which I'll be dead before I ever retire. But anyway, so that's the kind of stuff we're going to do. But thank you for that. Now, what the hell was his question?
I don't even remember now either. Just start it again. Yeah, a 50-year-old or something.
Oh, yeah. No, he has to eat all the time.
A lot, yeah.
So, and if he doesn't eat, his energy level drops. Yes. So, Tacie, you want to take this one?
Get him, Taste.
Thyroid?
No, I'm thinking something else that is pertinent to
Insulin
you.
resistance?
There you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Lucky you.
Give thyself a bell.
Hey, what?
So that's my guess. You want to?
I was going to say
you were nodding, so go ahead. You
talk. A little hypoglycemic too. I mean, in his body could be just. As you age, your body changes a little bit, and if he's eating foods that convert into sugar pretty quickly, sometimes we think we're eating really healthy foods like fruits and things that convert into sugar too quickly, and it'll spike your insulin. So it's really important.
When the insulin spikes, it's going to overshoot, and then the blood sugar is going to drop,
and then you feel
like crap.
Going down. Yeah.
So he needs blood work, correct?
This is what I would do if he came to me with that complaint. I'd like to get a food diary from him.
Absolutely.
What are you eating, and then when are you eating it, and how do you feel, and all that stuff. But I would do a glucose tolerance test on him, where you give him a certain amount of sugar, and then you take blood before and then immediately after, and then periodically thereafter, and you watch the blood sugar peak and then drop. And if it becomes hypoglycemic, then that makes the diagnosis.
Yeah, and Dang Lizard, actually, the funny thing, I was just reading his question. Dang Lizard from the fluid family had a question regarding those glucose monitors that people are kind of all the rage right now.
Yeah.
And what our thoughts are on those things. And
you mean for someone that doesn't have diabetes?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, but the reason they're again, alternative world.
That's fine.
The reason they're wearing them is because what they're trying to do is establish which foods you can eat.
I'm fine with that.
That affect you differently.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And so it may be something, because a lot of people don't think about you. They think they have a glass of orange juice and they have some mixed berries and some oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah.
And they feel great for about 15 minutes.
And then
kaboom.
Yeah.
And it's maybe one of those constant glucose monitors might help people to realize if they eat their yogurt with berries, there's a reason why they feel good for 15 minutes, and then it's not very good the rest of the day. So
one thing that I would like for him to do is get rid of the carbohydrate snacks and use protein snacks instead, because they'll last longer. They don't spike your insulin.
Absolutely.
And this may be a vicious cycle where he's spiking his insulin in the morning and then it drops. Yep. And now he's taking a carbohydrate snack to get it back up, and then his insulin is peaking again and then driving his blood sugar down. And it never ends. Right, he's chasing it. Exactly right. So, the other things that can cause polyphagia, which is what we call that. We have to have a different name for everything. It just means eating a lot. That's poly, a lot, phagia, eating a lot. A lack of sleep can do it. Stress can do it. Just your, and again, shitty diet. There are some medications, antihistamines, some antidepressants that can cause polyphagia, but the combination of eating to keep yourself from feeling crappy because your energy level is dropping if you don't eat really makes me think. And now Tacie did say the other thing I would check on them is a thyroid.
Sure, absolutely.
I would do a thyroid
hormone, testosterone,
TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, just as a screen to see if there's a problem.
If you feel like shit.
And testosterone, because he's 50.
Check that stuff.
Yeah. If you feel like shit, go check HIT.
That's right.
Ain't that right?
That sure is right.
And don't drink diet sodas either. They're stupid.
Yeah, just get rid of them.
Your body senses sugar, and then it's looking for the carbohydrate rush that never comes. And then that makes you hungry. And people who drink diet sodas thinking that they're helping themselves are actually making it worse. And I always wondered how that was possible till I read that, mechanism. And so would I recommend drinking regular sodas? No, that's just sugar water. So we don't have to be constantly entertained, and our tongue doesn't need to be constantly titillated.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Drink water, drink unsweet tea.
Black coffee.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't need the sugar now.
Yeah. Something. I mean, let's get off the sugar water in this country.
Exactly.
Good Lord. You look at pictures of us in the 1950s, and there are a few fatties, but not anything like now. And I used to weigh 122, and now, I'm south of 200, but only 20 pounds south of 200. And, I don't follow my own advice. I need to be eating more protein and less carbohydrates myself. But anyway, so Dr. Scott, I didn't ever answer that question about SiriusXM. We are currently on Sunday at 7, I think. Yeah, because I got off on talking about Rob Bartlett. That's what it was.
Yep.
The best way to listen to us is on demand. Just go use the SiriusXM app and listen to it that way. Then you don't have to worry about what time we're on and all that stuff. And I think some of it is we're getting preempted for sports right now because they're stealing bandwidth from 103 to broadcast sports. So the Sunday show is still intact. Hopefully when basketball season is over, then we'll be back to Saturday and Sunday.
Cool.
Okay. But anyway. All right, Dr. Scott, let's go through the Fluid family. If you want to join the Fluid family, go to youtube.com/@weirdmedicine and hit join. and subscribe. That costs nothing. Subscribe is just like following somebody on Facebook. And then, but hit join, but you don't have to pay the 99 cents. You can just click accept gifted memberships, because Myrtle Manus gave out 10 gifted Weird Medicine memberships, and somebody else did the same. LeBron Mystic also gave 10 Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve memberships. Thank you very much, LeBron Mystic. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Labrn Mystic. I always have trouble when there's missing vowels in there. So you had a question, Dr. Scott?
Yes, King had a question from the Fluid family. He says, or she says, I lost my job in January because they no longer accepted my medical documentation that I had an anaphylactic reaction to the flu vaccine. They wanted to do a stratification testing.
Okay. I disagree with that vehemently. If you have a physician that says you had anaphylaxis, they don't have any business standing between you and your doctor.
No.
And there may be some relief for you on this one.
Yeah. I'll be reaching out to someone who knows more about the if he's part of a union or
labor law stuff.
Yeah, has an attorney that would
because be all this business with the the COVID mandates. People that lost their jobs because they refused are now all either getting relief or they're getting their jobs back. But they can do stratification testing, but if you have an anaphylactic reaction to that, they're actually, exposing you to more anaphylaxis because it doesn't take much.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And anaphylaxis, happening once is plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand that at all. I'd be calling it.
Why are they doubting you?
Yeah,
are you just a big fat liar?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Okay,
That's really terrible.
Okay, let us know how that goes. You can email me too, and I can send you maybe some information from the medical literature regarding anaphylaxis and influenza vaccine that might help your case.
Especially state specific if we knew where King is.
Yeah. Okay, King. Just
King.
Email me.
Good luck.
All right. Sorry about that. Let me see. Yeah, Dang Lizard saying monitor your glucose levels, become a common health trend. Yes. Okay. And looks like that's it. Anything else?
Not that I saw.
Tacie, you got anything else?
Of course not.
Okay. Yeah. King is saying stratification testing scares me. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
If you ever had... Okay, so let's say you had influenza to shellfish, and you go to a restaurant.
Anaphylaxis.
And they... what did I say?
Influenza.
Oh,
sorry about that.
I'm an idiot.
That's
okay, yeah.
Well, that's...
Sorry about that.
Okay, so if you have anaphylaxis to shellfish and you go to a restaurant and they go, oh, yeah, we've got shellfish in everything, but let's just give you a little bit and see how you do it. That's stupid.
That's a terrible idea.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
So, I hate for you to be at risk for influenza because it sucks.
It does suck, yeah.
And the influenza vaccine does reduce the risk of dying from influenza and from ending up in the hospital, but and anaphylaxis can kill you right then.
Yeah.
So you've got anaphylaxis on one hand, and the potential maybe influenza will take you out of this world on the other hand. So you could see an immunologist. They are allergist immunologist. And talk to them about it, and maybe they can write you a letter that says, hell no. Mm-hmm. You just get some backup.
Yeah.
Or they may say, hey, we've got this thing we could do. We might be able to desensitize you. I had to, in medical school, desensitize somebody to penicillin because it was literally the only drug that you could use to kill the thing that was killing them. And so they said that they had anaphylaxis to penicillin. And so the infectious disease guy, here I am, a fourth-year medical student, said, here's the protocol. You do it, and you give somebody, increasing doses and see what happens. And what you're trying to do is get the antibodies to bind on the first smaller doses, so when you give the larger doses, they're depleted and are already bound up somewhere. And we were successful in being able to do that. But that person was going to die if we didn't do it. There is a risk of death of not taking the influenza vaccine, but it's vanishingly small. So that's a different situation. All right?
Yep.
King, stay in touch with us on that. All right?
All right.
All right, very good. Thanks to Dr. Scott. Thanks, Tacie. Thanks to everyone in the Fluid family. Checking us out at youtube.com/@weirdmedicine. Well, we're broadcast. We're not really doing a live stream. We're doing behind the scenes podcast, episode recording. Listen to our Sirius XM show on the Faction Talk channel right now, Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern, but on demand and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. And many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website, drsteve.com, for schedules, podcasts, and other crap, and check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.